Coffee, tea, and TB? Well, don't laugh. For passengers aboard a US Airways flight to Phoenix, just flying with a very sick passenger was enough to make it memorable. Because mid-flight, the airline was alerted by the TSA that the Centers for Disease Control had just put one of its passengers on their no-fly list. The reason: he was reportedly being treated for the highly contagious and sometimes deadly disease tuberculosis. That meant testing everyone on the plane to be safe, but a plain hassle nevertheless. So just plain wrong, and worse, plain illegal? To Rebecca Nitkin and Kelly Sandin. Kelly, what do you think?
I don't think that the CDC can be sued over this. I think that it's wrong, but I don't think it's illegal. I think they have an obligation to protect their passengers. They have to know the risk. And in this particular case, while it was an inconvenience, nobody contracted TB. So we've all been on flights with somebody that's gross and coughing and nasty, and you don't want to be by them because they're sick, but they didn't catch anything. So it seems wrong because nobody wants to be by that person, but it's not illegal.
Well, that's the last time I flew with Hannity. I mean, it stops. It just stops. Rebecca, though, is the airline in any way at fault? Now, it was notified very late in the game, so we can argue back to the passengers. Look, I mean, we found out almost as soon as you did. Does that carry much legal water?
No, it doesn't. And Neil, be careful what you're asking for, because just imagine if they were responsible and you walk up to the counter and you start coughing, and they say, "Ooh, that sounds like a very deep cough coming from your chest. You might have tuberculosis. We're not going to let you on the plane."
No, Rebecca, what happens is when they're playing CNN on a screen above them, I know that's going to happen to me, and I'm going to be the first to dump the plane, so please. But I guess what I mean, quite seriously asking, is there any liability on the part of the airline?
No.
All these passengers are ticked off, and they want to focus on somebody.
But it's what Kelly said. I mean, exactly. The guy is in line, he gets on the plane takes off, and then all of a sudden, CDC calls TSA and says, "Hey, there's a guy on the plane, and he's on the no-fly list." The only thing I'm concerned about is it sounds from all the information that we got that when the plane landed, they walked up and gave him a mask. What the hell good is that going to do? They've all been on the plane the whole entire time, and when they're exiting, they give him the mask.
So he didn't have a mask when he was flying? He didn't have anything like that?
I think they should have isolated him.
Well, you mentioned a very good point. Kelly, if the airline didn't do anything to either try to isolate this guy or you know, cover him up or put a mask on, then once it knew, it didn't do enough even after it knew. What do you think of that?
Well, usually in that case, you'd have to have damages. And in this case, nobody caught it. So fear of getting sick isn't enough. Having to give a test isn't enough.
Right? I mean, this can be dormant, right? You won't see right away.
You're right. It can be. I mean, thus far, nothing's come forward. But for you to suggest that maybe they should have isolated him, unless there is a significant area of first class that they could lock off, which they can't do in any modern day airplane.
Not these days. The planes are so crowded. By the way, we did try to reach out to US Air. We did not get a response. But Rebecca, you think this just sort of blows over? No pun intended. But people should be wise to who they're flying with or who's been cleared for takeoff. Right?
Absolutely, but I also think that it's very fair and it's correct that they told everybody instead of hiding from it. I mean, they didn't have much of a chance with all of the police coming on.
I think they told them midair.
I think they waited till they landed, and the police all came on, and everyone was told at that point in time when they put the mask on them, hey, you all need to get TB checks. And, you know, even if it's latent, yeah, it is. And even if it's latent, which most cases of TB are latent, they don't come to full fruition in most people. Even if it's latent and you're never going to get the full kick of the tuberculosis, they might show positive. So I'm not quite sure why Kelly's saying nobody had it. I don't know how fast the TB
but we don't know. We don't know. We're going to watch it and monitor and see if something comes of this. Hopefully not, but scary landing, to put it mildly. Folks, thank you both very, very much.